I'm in the toy. Fucking with the air, go down, Yahlahué. Are you reconciled? Are you trying to chill by the blue? You ain't even fighting. Are you trying to chill like the roots? If you go fire, you won't let that fucker burn. You should fucking learn. It's another thing out of here. You from Omega just like me. I need a yeah. Take you so high, it's just me. Yeah. On the plane floor, on the train floor, telling guys some messy shit points. I was the one that was pulling up on the one for selling shit. Better always be in trouble or better be calling us selling shit. But took your shit off the boat, gotta be gentle shit, now you're delicate. Yeah, I gotta say motherfuckers is pitiful. He was just running the sport, you could tell that he wasn't a general. Don't let him blame anything else when he did that he was a criminal. Yeah, I made an American out of him today by some other Liverpool. But speaking in Greek and I'm gonna go see me a shiny a minute too like yeah, I wanna chop to my chicken so Cherokee should show me Senegal. Yeah, we did that and the shine and why that bumping out shit to go. Yeah, Dakota, as soon as you know like any house. Yeah, manifested destiny, so shit's current. You thought the numbers was named right, I know my person name Christopher. That's me wrong, the information they was passing along. Yeah, you would never know who was really actually stars. Probably those the main plans. Looking like the main man. Like a bit of 17, I just bitch chillin' at the same fan. Some shit is pretty fair, but I like to take care of all my problems with. Ain't talking about a pair of not top, but I feel some shit. That's the soul. I like to tell it. You fucking with the air, go down, Yahlahué. Are you reconciled? Why you trying to chill by the blue? You ain't even buying. Why you trying to chill like the roof? That's a roof bonfire. You won't let that fucker burn. You's a fucking nerd. It's another fail out of here. You from Omega just like me. But I made him, yeah. Hit you so high that it's just me. Yeah. Why you ain't taking no slow? Why you ain't making no goals? Why you ain't taking no goals? But a few things you taking no low. Yeah, y'all be telling me lots I ain't praising the slow. The only thing y'all been waiting for, not waiting to hold. This is the red sticks, taking red bitch. If you think about hitting the belt, this is the bottom line. You making problems bigger than what they are when they finite. Too much problems you got in your life, so you don't get my highlights. You look at the back and you start to see things in the hindsight. Distracted with what was a bad life. You were just trying to get rid of the fun of your good, but this isn't a blast fight. You were just telling your people I couldn't see anything past all the lights. Yeah, that's the story. I'm in the toy. You fucking with the Haël'Ho, Yahlahué. Are you reconciled? Are you trying to chill by the blue? You ain't even buying. Are you trying to chill like the roots? At the roots, go fire. You won't let that fucker burn. You should fucking learn. It's another pill out of here. You from Omega just like me. I made him, yeah. Shit, you so high, it's just me. Yeah.
I dare you to try to debunk me. So y'all might as well stop talking about religion and all that type of stuff. You wanna watch out? You're about to start seeing all the washy shoes start denouncing religion. Watch. You ain't got no choice. You know it's copied. Y'all know y'all stole Muscogee. These guys ain't know how to make no government when they came over here. So they took our whole system and made it a religion. The whole government itself is ours. How the Native Americans was running stuff, just how our land is. So for the most part, the New Testament and remixed of the Old Testament is native. This is another reason why they try to get rid of Indians so much. The Native Americans wrote the Bible. It's our culture. And they took every piece of what we do as above, so below, and don't believe in as above, and just start doing it as below. So their starting point is coming from a replacement system. This is how you know everything they do got something to do with replacing. All the way till you see other foreigners and things of that nature having to be the face of these products and news channels and stuff like that. It come from, or somebody remixed the word of the Bible, or somebody remixed this. And who was these people? Did these people actually exist? Okay, the people who in control of y'all history and y'all text, that's the reason why it's like that. Because their starting point, they didn't do it themselves. observing Native Americans. And then they had to learn how to do our government over here and slowly did the replacement energy. So it's not them bringing something over here. It's them replacing the chief and trying to do what the chief was already doing there. You see what I'm saying? So here's how you get each land getting taken over like this, some type of Dynasty Warriors video game or some shit like that. You see what I'm saying? So it start with the religion is our government. It wasn't never no religion in the first place. So they changed Muscogee and Creek into Greek. And a lot of the stories is from Native American folklores. So you have to understand that too. When we get into and if you're a Christian or somebody like that, this is your time to click the link or whatever the case. You know what I'm saying? Because when you actually tapped in and you the main player yourself and you tapped into the ancestors, the spiritual predecessors, you know what that means. You're not getting it from no synthetic concept the way Washi Shu tell you, and your ancestors, they're able to play your ancestors because if you believe in it, or they're able to play out your belief for what you see or what you, for an example, right? For an example, my ancestors ain't anything that had nothing to do with all these burnings and things of that nature. That when you speak it to the ancestors, there's a certain template. It ain't a word. It's something that's in sync with reality, right? That's synthetic. If y'all start seeing a bunch of fires and plantations burning down, that's white boy doing that. And they probably know how y'all foreigners think. Like sometimes you could think like you just need a pleasing energy. You just like need some type of Christian thing that look like it went in your way with the fake voodoo hoodoo type stuff, and you'll be satisfied there with thinking something outside of you did something for you to your enemies. That never was a thing. So that white man put y'all in that type of concept. Anything a human do, especially if it's just so happen to be something that you into, and then it look like it's on your side, that's white boy playing manipulation on y'all. Y'all not really tapped in like that. Y'all too lost into white boy concepts of what they did to us Native Americans when we did shit for real. They're just using what we did for real on y'all, and y'all stay in this like spooky concept of it, and it never was that. You gotta be careful with dealing with white boy. White boy don't believe in nothing, so they sit there and watch what you believe, and just so since they not genuine, you don't know how to catch when things is done in reality genuinely. So you'll be thinking something genuinely happened for you, and white boy did it at an ungenuine time. How when you get frustrated, all this sudden that happened to that type of things. You see what I'm saying? Y'all can all be riding on a skateboard. I guarantee white boy all this sudden to make up a narrative about a skateboard. Y'all don't know how to test a white boy like that because y'all don't be in that type of. Y'all not here. Y'all not here. Y'all too much of that Christianity spooky shit. If a tree fell on a coat back in the day, it was a nuance to that for them to be like, man, what them Indians was talking about for real, whatever like that. How y'all got it now, y'all got white boy hitting in plain sight. So white boy destroy you, burn something down that you think you liked or something like that. I mean, that you didn't like or whatever the case may be. And then sit from a distance to see you bask in your ego joy or something like that. That's y'all gotta grow up a little bit as spirits. Y'all too kid in the spirit world. Because of distractions in the physical world that they threw y'all in and shit like that. Y'all, so you end up not being as an adult, but you getting there. As long as y'all watch my channel or just connect with some Native Americans, whatever the case may be, you'll raise your spirit up a little bit and you'll be able to be well grounded on what you're dealing with when you're dealing with humans. When you're dealing with people who ain't about nothing, who ain't got no creativity or whatever the case may be, they have to lean and depend on you. Since y'all not at a time where that's apparent, it's so much stuff in between that block you from seeing that it's the same scenario and things of that nature. And since time have went on and y'all in so much synthetic worlds, it's things that Washi Su already control. So it's never a situation where you get able to sit down and be like, hold on, this is my land, my creativity, my culture, and you don't even know what to do over here. You can never be in that space. You're going to be in a space after they cosplayed it, reduplicated it, and stuff like that, and then got you in a version where they made a game around it. Only they can win in, but they can't actually do it themselves. They can't actually practice what they preach. So this is where that tainted energy come from, or having to be behind closed doors and cope with it and make it seem like that's the right thing to do, where it's really not. You know what I'm saying? So you have to look at it like that. So the whole system over here is made from the Native Americans that was cool with the settlers that was trying to learn things over here. So when you hear about the Bible was originally written in Greek, that's white boy changing. It was originally written in Creek. And we wrote it in order for them to understand our culture and our ways of government and the as above, so below. Then they took it and the Jesuits tried to play each of our chiefs. And this is how the stars becoming white people. This is how each angel becoming white people, the four angles of the corners. And this is how we get this letter J over. We don't have a letter J and we ain't had a letter V and stuff. So the Cherokee language in today's time is plagiarized. That's specific. That's just a settler negotiating and making interpreter language like a pig gate language with the Creek and the Muscogee. But Muscogee was interacting before to control a lot of the bands that came together with the Creek. So, with the Cherokee. So that takes us into Creek being first, then Cherokee being a later version of Creek once the separation happened. And then you get the northern part who joint with us, Catawbas. We joint with the Northwest Confederacy and things of that nature. And then the South was more of the people who was practicing the slavery that the government wanted them to, and just do the Jesuit type of government and stuff like the American Pilgrim type of government by being the actual Jews if you was trying to relate to them at that time. So what you got the Jews doing today is what the Native Americans was doing, that wanted to assemble and teach the white man our ways back in the day, not them being an authority. Remember, at these times, it's more of us than them. We're looking at them as weak, but they're getting stronger over the time, bringing more and more people over here. See this? So this is where a lot of the conundrum and the confusion come from, and how negative they are when it comes into taking Native Americans out of the actual history of these lands. So you need to know how ignorant people is, to the point that you're using somebody's whole culture and turn it into a religion and government. That's ignorant on the highest level. So right now, they're not even going to be able to do nothing else but denounce it if they haven't already been. But for the most part, it's going to make them look bad, because this is the things that they was using that came from a starting point of the books that they still using that are telling them that they need to update, that it was a thing to cosplay as the Native Americans and create the replace concept. You're just replacing what the Sanctum is already doing there. You ain't bringing something new instead of some weak ass import-export immigration shit. That's pretty much it. But the culture, the spirituality, the way the government is structured, they copied everything from Native Americans. So it's just a replace system. So that's why you never can even get a good debate online about religion or anything of that nature, especially if it's a white boy involved. There ain't gonna be no logic involved, because the white boys who talking about it now don't know what's going on. And the ones that's in the cult, this is the things that they do. This still Native American shit and cosplay as it. So a Native American is God in a white person's mind. In reality, see how they coped with it is this: we destroyed them and we're doing their system. But that's you lost in your mind. In all actuality, you want to be like the Native American, and you feel like a god when you act like one. And the way you run a government, you wouldn't have known how to run a government over here if we didn't give you the manuscript. The Bible, before it was called the Bible, y'all was even plagiarizing it, calling it all the Babel or whatever. No, you're learning about the motherland. That's old to us, new to you. There is no other template, or white people would have always just been in Europe, period. So don't ever get it fucked up on who the father of these lands, who the mother of these lands, where the knowledge come on these lands. You can only have devils over here trying to control something and cope with something that has no logic behind it. But when it comes into the actual concept, the actual mind state, you ain't gonna see none of these people practice what they preach. And at this point, they can't do nothing but denounce it. Denounce religion as a whole, because they damn sure can't speak for it. They damn sure can't claim it. And I damn sure don't want to hear nothing about no damn aliens and shit again. And Noah's Ark boats being discovered 2000. Nobody want to hear that bullshit now. Now defend y'all shit. Don't get scared now. Don't get scared now. Y'all be on all these other channels. Because if y'all don't defend y'all shit, I'm the master. I'm the head boss. I'm the Lord of the Plains and the Great Lakes. If you can't defend your shit on my shit, it just look like you copying me, about to do some racism and remix it and get on people's channels that's confused a little bit, and you can catch me on those channels. Go ahead and try it. As soon as I start seeing y'all on a podcast, as soon as I start seeing y'all in the chat, as soon as I hear anything that sound racist in a way that other people can't point to and be like, that's racist, I'm going to speak for my people. You ain't going to be able to get away with that. I run the mines on this land and soil. The mine itself, I don't have to do nothing. I don't have to lift a finger. It's natural to this soil. You can't be unnatural and then try to force yourself. That's what y'all doing, though. That's why it's backfiring. You're forcible. You don't. The force not with you. You trying to be the force, but the force not with you to do it. You don't got the spiritual energy. You don't got it. It's like everything synthetic is crumbling. Everything that was false. We got to start seeing y'all even practice what y'all preach. We know that y'all. We know y'all stole the Jesus, all that shit from Native Americans. If y'all can't practice what y'all preach, y'all ain't gonna be able to use religion no more. Because the way y'all trying to use it and shadow ban people and do all this other type weird shit things, this is why things happen in the way it's happening. You created the mathematical precisions. So where these Christians at? Where these goddamn all these confusion pushers online? You can't hide no more though. You can't hide on other people's pages. Defend your shit if that's what you believe. So it can get debunked in 3 minutes. History-wise, language-wise, I dare a person who think they speak Greek to come up here. And if I start speaking Muscogee and it sounds like I know Greek better than you, that's a problem. That's a problem because you get ready to get into a story in your mind that white boy book can't tell you. It ain't gonna have no logic behind it, and you just gonna have to believe it was 1000-something BC. And if I'm sitting here in living proof, and we can switch the language however you want to do it, or whatever the case may be, and I got more correspondences than you, then obviously I'm more in a position of the space that the author was in, not you. If you can't tell me High Priestess Aaron mean the sun being exalted at the beginning of the year, and that's spring, and that's after the Passover, and that correlated to astrology, astronomy, and anatomy, and you get ready to say the Passover means something else that ain't got nothing to do with the time of the year, what the actual God children was practicing beyond astrology and astronomy, and you get ready to get lost in your head and think an author just came up with that concept or whatever, not understanding it's the way we ran the government over here in the Western Hemisphere. You don't have the context. You don't have the nuance. I dare a Christian to click the link. Anybody who religious, you'll get debunked in 3 minutes and realize you kick your shit back wherever it was at, and even your Palestine shit is wrong over here. So you have to understand that. Anytime y'all even hear the news channel start talking about Palestine or Jews or whatever the case may be, they talking about y'all. They're not talking about no other country. They talking about y'all in America's soil. They stole. Listen, you have to understand it like this. These words and the things that they're using. See, this is why me and my people, we don't watch that shit. Because we see how ignorant it is. And we put it to the test too. We like, all right, you do this, you do that, and do that. Because they don't know no better. When you start hearing terms like Israel and all these type of things, they're talking about y'all in America and y'all mind. Think about it. Why would one country be caring about another country? They don't. That's the people who run the Americans. And then over here in America is just their extension. So they're playing a mind game based upon Native Americans and shit. How they try to confuse and make y'all don't think who Native Americans, always all the way to making the subcontinent India. And that shit wasn't called that and shit. They know what the fuck they doing over there and shit like that. So that's the anchor place of just where they're running their battery mind group thinking. And all these terms don't mean the actual land. It mean what was happening on these lands is running through the minds of whatever we're trying to control at the moment. So if you see some psyop on a news channel about Trump going to get some African, no, that's Trump getting ready to do something to y'all in America. If you see a whole bunch of black people on the walls and things of that nature, that's telling y'all it's a black world. It's going to be a blackout. Blackout means killing black people. So let's get that clear and directed also. Just like how they got sundown cities and stuff like that. They're doing symbolism on y'all that they stole from Native Americans, because this shit we used to do. We used to put signs and symbols, start making ceremonies that they didn't know what to mean, and raid the whole fort. They thought it was something else. They thought we was dancing or something like. Then they learned what a war party was, and we didn't even have a word for it. It was a ceremony. Said they do all watered down versions on y'all because this is their way of once upon a time. Their way of trying to make it seem like us Native Americans was evil because we're protecting our land and coming up with a system of controlling people who fight back. Well, you ain't got no business on being on people's land in the first place, and then slowly but surely thinking our way of civilizing is what's making us God. When once upon a time we had to look like demons to these people who was stronger than us, and we kind of could look at them as evil, but deep down we evil to ourselves because we ain't even got no business being on this land. Now that they're civilizing, they civilize all the traits that the native fight back in their spirit or whatever the case. They think that's a concept of being God. Hey, we can control this because we're not getting looked at mentally or physically or something like that, right? So they're always in some type of scattered brain, worried brain. Like it's weird. Where other cultures, they never got that type of concept. Where people just mind their business. So as they're controlling it, this is how they feel like they're God. Oh, I'm God. I'm a Native American that like how they used to do over here. It's just they replaced it with a tuxedo and stuff like that. My feet hurt energy. But that's it when it comes to the government. It ain't about nothing else. Anything they do in government, religion, is the Native American practice. Like you can stop now. You can stop now. You know what I'm saying? Shit. You can pretty much stop now. You don't stop cosplaying. That's pretty much it. We really don't go no further than that. Click the link though. Y'all see how they run? Well, everybody bullshit talking about yeah, what you think about the Hebrews? Yeah, what you think about Greeks? Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Back in the day, nobody give a fuck about shit that ain't had nothing to do with the year or the land or the time span. You about to make it make sense over here, or y'all wasting time. Y'all wasting time. Y'all don't live in Palestine. You know what I'm saying? Y'all don't live the Atlantic's trade slave thingy is them coming to calling it Atlantis. They coming across the Atlantic thing to trade slaves and shit like that. So that ain't just one boat, man. That was a whole time frame. That was a whole mind frame, bringing a lot of monkeys and shit over here and shit. You know what I'm saying? A whole time frame. Yeah, this is why I call them punks, though. They're punks. So all they do is like secretly do punk stuff. This is punk quality. How I look at it. You know what I'm saying? Y'all are punks. Y'all don't got no credibility in my mind. I don't want to hear nobody defend that nobody else's channel. Y'all fake the views and shit like that. I don't want to hear it. It's phony. It's phony. Stop talking about religion. Stop talking about it. Stop talking about it. Especially if you're a white boy. Stop talking about it. Don't talk about religion no more. Stop talking about it. Don't talk about no Jesus Christ. Nothing. Stop talking about. Don't talk about shit. Stop talking about it. Said man, people only need to start talking about stuff they're involved in. If you ain't involved in shit, stop talking about it. And if you're using it to cosplay, it will be exposed. So stop talking about it. You know what I'm saying? Talk about something else. Stop showing where y'all at so people can start paying attention and be like, because I mean, everybody been knew that though. It's just y'all can try to confuse people with language and shit like that. Defend your shit then. If Greek really some white boy shit, defend your shit. It don't even make sense. I can make the whole history make sense in 3 minutes. How they made Greek, plagiarized it for the Muscogee Creek, same way how they took the J, plagiarized Yahlahué with Jehovah, same way how they put the V on it to take away our the Ye energy and put V on there. Some made up terms from all Queen Elizabeth concepts. Now you see how that makes sense? Way more sense than y'all 3000 BC energy. Where you at in America? You're not over there where some claim to start it, right? Don't that make more sense? Why would somebody try to change and plagiarize a Bible based upon someone else's system being on that land? Don't that make sense already? Them dealing with the Native American Indians? Don't that make sense? You know what I'm saying? So don't get lost in them switching words around. They're just switching words. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, defend this, defend it.
Hey,
We're gonna add you
I'm
to
not here to
hold on. We're gonna add you to this other cat right here, Raw. You like Benny the Butcher. And
hey,
Billy the Butcher alien. Billy the Butcher uncle.
Hey,
All right,
I'm
let's
not
go
here
ahead.
to debate anything or nothing like that. I had a couple. I was gonna ask if I could ask a couple history questions. If this not the time, I can step to the side.
No,
Because I
it's gonna,
figured anybody was
the history. The question is going. They gonna ask that too. Hey, I might gotta turn y'all up. Hold on for a second. Hold on 1 second.
Damn, wash my fucking face. Fucking cut
No,
the
I hear
line.
him. Somebody
Fucking
gotta turn themselves up.
Hmm?
You can hear me?
Oh yeah, I
I'm
hear you
already
now. I hear you.
tapped in. Already
All right, I probably gotta just talk closer to the mic. All right.
Yeah, we got your eye, man. We know you, Queen Elizabeth eyeball crown, man. But but defend it though. Let's defend some logic. Let's get it.
Nah, I didn't have nothing to defend and type shit. I was gonna ask history questions and shit. Cause I figured nobody's gonna come over here and really.
No, I was talking to homeboy. Look, come on.
Shit,
All
my
right,
fault.
what you was gonna say? Go ahead.
Nah,
Me.
Go ahead, Rock. Go ahead, Rock.
For sure. Shit. I wanted to know your take on the moon.
The moon. Let me turn y'all up a little bit. I gotta turn y'all up. Hold on, it's too low.
Yeah. Because
Let me turn y'all up a
I'm a
little bit.
lunar Sabbatarian and actually follow the moon cycles, and I feel like there's, to me, because I'll be reading the Bible and stuff like that. I read several times and stuff like that. And I don't identify as a Christian. I just identify myself as a spiritual person. And what I've seen is that there is a whole, it seems like the moon is a form of sorcery. The cycles, the times that you do act upon certain types of affirmations and stuff like
You
that.
said sorcery. No, don't try to make Native American shit sorcery because I'm up here claiming my culture,
No, I said it
speaking for
before.
my culture.
But it's
Because
so
this is what y'all
powerful.
do. This is what y'all do. Now, every time something get discovered that y'all start doing behind closed doors, and this ain't nothing discovered, but I guess I'll be having to say stuff. So this how I can catch y'all moves. This kind because y'all weak with it. So I guess this is another way of trying to say, oh, this is a form of sorcery because now y'all can't claim somebody else shit now. No, it ain't no sorcery. You see the moon. How's that sorcery? You can't just use it to put a satellite up there. If that's the case, the whole astrology page that y'all doing is
Yeah,
sorcery.
they always do
NASA
that
is sorcery.
shit. I be peeping that shit too. They do that shit, especially with the native shit. They do that shit with everybody culture, but especially native shit. I be
No, it's just
peeping
native shit. They don't even be doing
I'm
people.
definitely a
Everybody else
native.
culture is native shit.
I'm Aborigines and Jamaican.
What happened?
This is my land, nigga. Fuck.
You said
I'm
Aborigine
with
and
the whole
Jamaican.
shit, bro. Like, trust.
You know where the term Jamaican come from?
Absolutely not. I'm not
It's
gonna
not your
lie.
land, man. It ain't your land. You ain't
Oh
got no
no,
part.
I'm not talking about Jamaica. I'm talking about America.
How? How is it your land?
Nigga, I'm Aborigines.
What's the language? What we call it? What we call it?
Well, shit, we ain't going nowhere. We're parking the car right now. Where are we
Well,
going?
you lost. You just lost. Ain't about going nowhere. You can't go nowhere, but hell, lost.
I ain't gonna lie. These niggas high, you feel me? But I had a real question. I was gonna say some shit about
you got a joint roll?
No, it's a form of lostness. But go ahead, Metatron.
Hey, hold on, Rock.
Hebrew.
Hey, I had something to say. I was gonna say, as far as like when they be talking about like when the white man came over and shit like that,
right?
They be acting like, oh, like Christopher Columbus or this and that and the third came over to take over. But isn't there basically history of motherfuckers trying to come over to Americas before that? Like, you know, I'm talking about like with the Viking period and shit that they don't really be talking about.
That's made up too, and they ain't start flooding until like the 15. That Christopher Columbus is a manifested destiny to replace history. Christopher Columbus is not a real person. When they start to explain things, it's all caricatures.
Okay, that makes sense and shit. And then I want to say something too about the Aztecs and shit, because wasn't Aztecs technically considered native too? Because they was like kind of part of the land and shit like that. Like the
They all
original
Native
ones,
American.
not the new mixed ones. Now I'm talking about like the old ones and shit.
What you call them again?
Is it like Aztecs or some shit?
That's the Confederation. It's a group of Native Americans coming together to create the Aztec Confederation. That just means whatever they was doing, an establishment as a government. These names y'all using for Native Americans ain't talking about a lineage or a blood. It's talking about, it's talking about the lineage, but it ain't talking about like that's a blood or a family. That is all the Native Americans in that area who came together and created that band and confederacy. That's what we're calling Hopewell, Adena, Inca, Mayan. It's all the Native Americans. So we're the descendants of that. Those ain't separate people. That's another thing y'all be trying to do.
So we just call them natives. Don't call them the Aztec shit, basically.
Aztecs is what they was doing.
I feel you.
It's almost like saying a German or Irish person that's an American. An American is what they're doing. They're doing American type shit, like their culture, but they're Irish or German. You see what I'm saying? So the Incas was doing Inca shit, but they're Native Americans.
Okay, now this is some shit I really want to get out the way because I hate how like
Yeah, we gotta get this retarded British man out of here. Go ahead.
I hate how a lot of white people and shit try to make this shit seem. This shit been pissing me off for the longest and shit. So I know you finna clear it up now. But like, you know how niggas be trying to make it seem like they just came through and they destroyed the Aztec people or they destroyed the Mexico people. I always felt deep in my heart that it was more to that story and that them niggas be lying because they really only give you so much information about how they took over Mexico. But I remember one time I was talking to you and you said for niggas to even have guns, like the Mexican people, for them to even have guns, mean they already did some dealing and dealing in with the white man at the time.
It's based off relationship. We can't mix the context of the situation we at now with back then. Back then, it was based off relationship. Ain't nobody just automatically enemies once you get off the boat. We've been trading with individuals for a minute. It's just replacing. You could get good with a bunch of other people, and that's like if you had some type of establishment, and I came in, I'm cool as fuck. I got shit. Eventually, I'm building relationships with other people, and stuff like that. And it might be a situation that happened where I get on the side of certain people to get you out the way. But here's the thing. I'm a whole different person. I'm going to bring more of my people in certain positions. So now it start with replacing energy. And after a while, people got more and more crafty with it as far as the settlers. That's how they got over the Aztecs.
Yeah, they and I hate how they always try to...
Poison is the main thing, not the smallpox. That's kind of made up. Poison itself, manipulation and poison. That's what failed the Native Americans. Trusting, manipulation, and poison. Colonization and war like that ain't coming to mid 1700s and then early 1800s, and then they got that more sufficient of import export. That's when all the war fighting like that came from. Before then, this Indians kicking everybody ass.
Yeah, I was gonna say, and that's why I like fucking with you because I really do fuck with the whole native shit, especially like the Mexican shit, because I always had like a jar and I thought that shit was cool. But that's why I always hated how they always try to make it seem like they just went in and they crashed these niggas, that crashed Mexicans. Because I always feel like, damn, I never felt like that resonated like that. I didn't feel like that shit really made sense. And I told my people, I said, I feel like they lying about that shit and shit like that. That's why I always was like, damn, that shit.
See, the thing is, it's like a defeat. Like white boy lost every war they ever fought Native Americans in our combat style. They only started winning when they got the freedman and Asians and updated their Genghis Khan technology. But them coming to settle over here, this is the whole reason why Britain had to help and all this type of shit, like, or come in and play like a order or whatever like that, because they was getting hit upside the head. Because it's like we trying to be friendly, but it's still we the main players. So it's like we trying to be friendly, and then y'all coming over here and doing some spicy shit and things of that nature. So this shit, at that point, we just hitting everybody upside the head and shit. As soon as you get off the boat, and that became a problem after a while. That became a problem.
Real shit. Because I think I knew somebody was trying to say some shit like, oh yeah, oh you speaking, yeah, Mexicans had that war, this and the third, but they couldn't have been hard because the Spanish basically already had whooped that ass or some shit for them to even be mixed in with that shit and have with it. But then I was like, nah, these motherfuckers just lied and did a whole bunch of, like you said, manipulating to even get in that situation. So yeah, like when you said, nobody ever took over shit.
When they first was coming over here, they was running from their lands. So they was coming over here dirty and hungry and stuff like that. So it was like a good 30, 40 to 100 years of coming up with systems where they admired our shit and we was marrying them in. Like that was like a whole thing before any beefing. Like you might have in-house type stuff, but on a larger scale, taking people in and calling them brothers and sisters and shit and marrying people in and stuff. That was a whole thing. So it was a lot of stuff like that going on. And with the freedmen, like they was trying to bring over here to help them a lot of times based upon how slavery was done back then. They had already kind of destroyed Africa, but in that other kind of way. And slavery ain't really based on race. It's based on, it's like Dynasty Warriors. If anybody played Dynasty Warriors, you'll know exactly what was going on. They got everything from Genghis Khan. You would take over the land, but you rebuild it like your shit. And then like the people that's there, you kind of like give them benefits or however the case may be. So it's like they already did that to Africa. So it was a lot of people already helping white people with boats and stuff like that to even come over here and help them establish shit like railroads and all this other kind of shit.
I'm glad you brought up Africa too, because that's what I was gonna ask too about well, now that you mentioned it, with the whole Shaka Zulu shit, how they fought, like I guess Britain came over and tried to conquer their shit, and then they lost like 2 or 3 times, like they whooped that ass. My thing was, I just realized that was way after the fact. That was like the late 1800s. So in other words, they had been doing shit to Africa even before that, right? Like they had been already.
Yeah, it's like they're trying to establish lands, and they figured out a more sufficient way to establish lands with our culture. So this is why you get a lot of the deep colonization and name calling in the 1800s, 1900s, because they're dealing with us so much and just having like a let's wing it type of government. But now they got a confederation. Now they got a military. Now all of our qualities that we got made it more sufficient for them to go ahead and take substantiate Africa, substantiate Ghanaian, substantiate India and stuff. But it took all that concept of coming over here to build up that establishment.
Because I know, yeah, I see what you said, because I notice how any place, right? I'm not gonna use the term native because I'm gonna keep the native in America part. But I guess anything what people want to even point out to as far as what you would consider what original or aboriginal, like I brought up the other day, like when you look at the land of Australia and shit, or if you look at like the Polynesian Islands with Fiji and Hawaii, all that shit, it's like they always do they come in and do the same shit that they do with the natives to those places too to take over the land or shit like that, basically.
They do that to everybody's land. They just use a concept. Look at it like this. They've been taking over people's lands, but they thought they was God. It just was different names, them being generals and stuff like that. When they came over here, they learned like a spiritual quality of how we was doing things without really killing like that and shit. And it was more stuff over here in this land. So they took that, destroyed us, and took the mental God complex and added it to what they was already doing. Now, when you start to see them name and take over everywhere else, this is where you get this kind of Native American Indian essence behind it, just and with the white man being in control. It's kind of like how they playing God in the government right now. Where you take what the chiefs was already doing, replace it, have everybody worship in this religion to pray to you, but you made that up in the first place based off Native Americans, what we was already doing, basically. It's kind of like that kind of concept.
I see what you're saying.
So that's how they made India a subcontinent.
Gotcha. You go ahead, Susie.
Thank you. Hi, Dolo. I'm white, but I'm Polish, and I identify with being pagan. And also, I just wanted to mention that, like, before Christianity, we had our spirituality, and they took basically like the same shit. They took everything and made it Christianity. They took away power from women because
Wait, you said you're a pagan? Them the individuals that did it.
But
so pagan is an inverted form of animism.
Excuse me? It like broke off.
Paganism is an inverted form of animism, where you no longer even just look at animals as spirituality, and you get to sacrifice humans now. So when they made paganism, it gave the white man the excuse to look at us Native Americans as animals.
Oh shit, okay. No, because I was just thinking
So
like
they anthropomorphized us.
But we had like our rituals and shit, and they took it and said like Christmas, for example.
Yeah, every pagan ritual is about the death of Native Americans.
Really?
Yep.
Well, why?
Because they wanted this land, and we was fighting back.
But the like Western and like English Christianity shit had nothing to do with like the Slavic type of region, you know? And I feel like we had our own spirituality, and they just took it and made it something else. And that's why the Greek also took, like, they trying to say that Slavic spirituality was like Nordic, which is basically the same like Greek, right? But we had something completely different, and we had something else, and they put Christian crosses everywhere where we had these spots, and maybe it's not pagan then. I don't know. It's just what I feel. And
Yeah, Greek is the white boy trying to be the Muscogee Creeks, from the outfits to how we looked at the world and we carry the world on our back and all that. So that's just a plagiarized concept. But the paganism itself is white boy bringing a government over here, and the things we was doing to animals, they start doing it to us and stuff, and justifying it like, well, y'all doing that, so we could do it to y'all, all the way to our land, what they think we was doing to other tribes, and they made up some type of reverse psychology. Well, y'all doing that, so we can do it type stuff, and we're not even doing what they actually talking about. So that's paganism. The white boy excuse to use our practices on us and chop us with swords.
I just feel like it's something else and it's something different, and that Slavic have like their own spirituality and what their grandmas are doing and
what they do.
When I'm in the village, when I'm near the ocean and stuff, I feel like this is like I'm from the Baltic region, and I feel like this is my land, and I feel like their spirituality in, like, for example, what these grandmas are doing, but they don't see it, and they see it as this Christianized version. And yeah.
Who named your lands?
Excuse me?
Who named your lands?
Well, now it's, I don't know, something else now.
Yeah, y'all need a savior. Y'all land is vacant, so any spirit could just come in and out, and your spirit could be all over the place and not go to the right place. So maybe build that back up so y'all can find y'all anchored spirit, so it can start having some grace over y'all land and want y'all to take appreciation over y'all land again.
Because, you know, I do appreciate the land, and I do feel like there's like more in spirituality. Sorry, like language barrier is a bit hard for me right now, but I just, maybe it's not pagan, but they're so, like, they used our Slavic people as like first slaves, and they took everything from us. And
who did?
The English, the German, the English, and all these, and Genghis Khan.
Why y'all never stop y'all own people from doing shit? Because we stopped the Anazazi. We had a whole peacemaker that came here and brought us all together on all sides, not just the Haudenosaunee. All the tribes had a peacemaker that came and stuff like that and stopped the tribes. So we did with our stuff. I'm pretty sure the freedmans, they had Martin Luther Kings, they had Malcolm X and stuff like that. Why y'all never got no people to come out and demonize these things?
And what things?
The things you claim that your people doing to you, like everybody else who had people that was in powerful positions that was doing things to their own people, we got rid of them. We cast stones at them. Yeah. We clean up our own yard. But y'all people be running wild on everybody else, but y'all don't never have no spiritual people. Like y'all don't never have no Jesuses or nothing like that.
Yeah, I understand.
We're y'all Martin Luther Kings, and we're y'all
yeah, because the Martin Luther
little bighorns
came in and they made paganism to Christianity. So that's what I thought, you know. But
yeah, y'all need something to be born. Y'all need a sitting bull, or something like that. Y'all need me, a Tecumseh, or so. Y'all need something to be born. You know what I'm saying? Y'all need a Mama Natoa with the ancient Powhatans and stuff like that. Or in another, y'all need a Martin Luther King or a Malcolm X if you want to go to the free man. Puerto Ricans, they got damn, I forget homeboy name. Damn, what's his name? I don't want to miss nobody's shit.
In the Old Testament, for example, you know, they still believe in the Old Testament, and they like, yeah.
Yeah.
But I just wanted to know what you think about it.
Think about what?
I just wanted to know what you think about this, and I really appreciate it.
Yeah, that's what I think. Shout out to Susie. I think I think y'all should y'all need somebody to be born to speak about that world. Y'all don't have y'all I guess y'all got too many spirits evaporating. So y'all not going to that world to say I'm back. Y'all keep going to that world, and then people who just after y'all saying I'm that, and the people that's going to that world never could come back and say I'm back. You know what I'm saying? So people who saying I'm that, getting ready to go to hell too and stuff, that y'all got to find some spirits down here to be born to speak for y'all or some cases. Everybody else got people to clean up the trash of our own shit. So this would allows us to be in a position to speak. It's just y'all people ain't do that yet. As soon as y'all get some people to do that, it can't be synthetic either. Y'all gotta get some people to do that. Y'all gotta have somebody born. Or go ahead.
It's always a red, and I'm not gonna speak on it too much, but I just want to say, yeah, I realize with anybody, it's always a red flag whenever people don't know either the starting point of their quote unquote culture, or like you said, the meaning of even the names. Because see, I like, and this is not just about her. This is a lot of white people. Or let me see what you say, Yahlahué, because and this is most of the world now, but a lot of them be into things that they claim as their culture that they really don't even know why they even do it. But yet in their mind, they think that they're doing something for the right cause. And then they'll not only have a false pride as if that's theirs, they'll really think in their mind that they're doing the right thing, not knowing that they 9 10 out of 10 doing something culturally that is actually at the detriment of somebody else's culture, like the natives. You know what I mean?
Right. Perfect example. Hallelujah. They got the whole world saying hallelujah. And even when they saying hallelujah, they might be in a position where they don't know what they saying. But then the people who made that up to put it for everybody to be in that lostness don't believe in that anyway. And they got the book to be like, oh yeah, we was dealing with this Native Indians right here. And yeah, this is what they were saying. Like it'd be books like that in the Vatican and shit like that to keep control and be like, oh yeah, I could be the God over this character. So and then they believe the mind is the spirit. So if they think anybody who's just acting like that has a spirit, and it's not. It's anybody who's in a circumstance. They react similar in their own way, just like anyone else who is in a similar circumstance. So they have a faulty way of even suggesting things and shit like that. It get weird. Like it get weird when you ain't got no real psychologists in these areas. For real.
Hey, another thing, because this is the deep topics I had on my mind. It was also like, what I realized is all the lands that get took over, whether, like I said, we want to call them aboriginals or whatever, you notice they always have like churches or some type of cross. And some examples will be like I mentioned before, like with Hawaii and shit. There was this old ancient dude or whatever, and he was talking about how it like you go there now and you just see churches everywhere, and there's a bunch of these crosses. And he was like, anytime you see crosses, that's automatic representation that the land got took over, and that
right
either whatever the people was currently
and
doing traditionally got took over, and that's how you wipe out a damn nation. Because look at Brazil, they got a big ass, what's that dude, the real dude named like Cesare Borgia, I heard, but they got this Christ the Redeemer statue that's like letting niggas know like, damn, that's shit deep, really. People
Yeah, that's what they did to us.
Take pictures and shit.
That's what they did to us. What every chief that was in the main sweat lodge or things of that nature, the main longhouse, they'd destroy it or capture him or castrate him in front of everybody. And that was the thing. The whole concept of hanging people on the cross came from hanging Native Americans on the cross for the United States Cavalry or something like that. So that it wasn't one or two things, and castrating and decapitating. They did it over 80 sometimes and stuff like that, aka 80 some sachems. Like when you see the 50 stars on the flag, and when they say rule the nations, that actually mean the 50 stars was the 50 main player chiefs in each area. And then for the most part, that was a thing I once upon a time in the early 1800s and the late 1700s, hanging us on crosses. And then where that's the main chief and the sweat lodge was at, replace it with a Masonic lodge and put the Catholic Church right next to it. And then you get the flag too, and you get the cross, and then force the Native Americans to be up under a white flag if they want to be civilized and don't want to fight. Could this be the example? Hey, this is what y'all believe in, this y'all ruler, and hang us on a cross and be stabbing us and stuff like that in front of everybody. And then they still praise that to this day. There's Masonic practices that they go through that initiation to try to feel what the native feel, but to be still alive and to be like feel like God or something like that. So they have a sword in the left part, be blinded, whatever it's all that Native American shit.
And now that's what I was gonna ask you too. And for them to even do all those shits, like for instance, like with the scalping and shit like that, I feel like isn't all these tactics that they're doing with the hanging and all that shit and the cutting the limb, ain't that technically some shit that they just stole again from natives? Because y'all was already doing that type of shit, right? I was gonna ask about like with the Aztec rituals, how y'all would take out the hearts and shit like that.
We did everything they're doing in a more relatable way. Then they demonize it and start doing it in a negative way, and then throw rocks and hide their hands type circumstances. So you have to look at it like that. Like look at it like this. Like we have a practice where we're talking about sacrificing a baby, and we ain't even actually sacrificing the baby. We might be talking about some spiritual shit or whatever and having a ceremony. They to make themselves look good in history, they'll say this is what Native Americans did, while actually sacrificing Native Americans that same way. And then other people that they do, how they did slaves and stuff like. So it's kind of like that. Like we'll be doing some shit we already doing. They'll demonize it and then do it in a negative way.
And that's kind of like when people talk shit about certain, and even with like we talked about before with the Mexican shit, right? And like I remember you would always say before that, you know, it's a lot of different natives that's in Mexico, and not to put too much attention on the cartels and shit, but like when you see certain motherfuckers like cutting up lambs and shit and doing certain sacrifices and shit and certain types of rituals, it's like you can tell some of them know what they doing. Like, I'm not saying when they go too far with it on some other end, some desire shit, but you could tell, like, even like, what do they call it? Like the brujeria, that witchcraft shit, that was like native shit, wasn't it? Because you was talking about how y'all already was doing the magic and the shit that they was just calling like voodoo or
I will
native
have to
terms.
get into the current practice of what you're talking about to see if it's plagiarized or whatever the case may be. But so I can't really speak too much to that.
Okay,
But
okay.
I know one thing: white boy came over was eating Native Americans. They was eating themselves after a while. They thought that was a good thing.
That's crazy. And then okay, I'm gonna say one last thing. I'm gonna get up out. But last thing what I was gonna say is, I know that's how they call the whole shit America, like North America, Central America, and South America is really all just the Americas. So basically, like you were saying, it was natives all along that land. So even when you look at people like the Brazil shit, you know how they be saying like Brazil is like it's Afro this, it's Afro / native, it's Afro Brazilian. So is it really true to that? Or was the Brazilians really natives too and shit like that? And all that culture with the BBL and the big ass booty and shit. That's
Yeah,
really like native shit, right? Or is that
yeah,
African
no.
shit after the fact?
Well, when we start talking about the colonizing period and stuff like that, those was the first initial grounds, like the in-between grounds, like the Caribbeans and stuff like that. So that's when the most like physical eugenics was practiced, where you bringing in Africans, you bringing in this, you destroying the natives that's already there. Some that got agreed with stuff, they had to just blend in with everybody else. And then that's why the Caribbeans always end up like the first forms of melting pots. Then they can bring that more into America and stuff like that. Basically, but they used to kidnap a lot of Native Americans, send us to North Africa, England, Caribbeans and shit like that, and had us preach the word, but also start families and shit.
Okay, yeah. Now, yeah, I was figuring because a lot of people and shit like that was saying how, you know, like, oh, the reason the Brazilian, like, the biggest thing with the Brazilian, like I said before, was BBL shit. And even by learning from you, like you said, they always take native culture. The shit that be native culture the most is the shit that they make the most of a big deal. And I was like, damn, everybody getting BBLs and shit. And I know that's a ritual and shit, and that's psyop shit too, to a certain extent. But it's like, damn, this was actually somebody culture first for the people in the white man to even want to make this a thing. I was like, damn, I bet you this shit native culture. And here's the thing, let me say this
Well, you
last
said
thing.
BBL? No, don't throw no BBLs on us and shit. We didn't do the shit like that. We had shit like cone heads or shape. We could shape the body and shit.
No, not
Where
the wait, Dolo.
you're forming a skull or you're forming a body, but we don't do no technology
Yeah,
like that.
check me out. Not what that's what I'm saying. Not the process of the BBL shit. I'm saying like
Oh,
seeing the voluptuosity of the bodies.
oh yeah.
That's got to be some native shit. Because here's the thing: back when I used to be on my hard African shit, I used to be like, nah, this some shit. You know, African women got the booties and shit. But then I started realizing, hold on, I think this Brazilian shit more some native shit, and I'm gonna tell you why. Because even when you look at Colombian and shit like that, a lot of them definitely native. They even wear the feathers too. A lot of them know who the fuck they are, right? Those women, it don't matter what color they is, if they lighter, dark, brown, caramel skin, they all be having bodies and big ass booties and shit. And they don't even have as much Africa mixing them with the Brazilian. So that let me know, like, nah, this is really some native shit. Even when you be looking at certain the Mexicans and shit, especially in the Texas area, they always got this very curvaceous, like thick shape to them. You know what I'm saying? But I don't want to get too
Right.
eighth housey. I was like, damn, this shit native shit. People probably don't even know it.
Yeah,
And they'll give all the
all the
credit to
wiggling with the body like a snake and shit. That's how they kind of like took the little template and made all these foreign chicks that's rappers and singers videos. It ain't nothing but images of what's in a book that whatever cult director be imagining when they first came over here and colonized us Native Americans. Like every single thing, every little piece of it.
Yeah, that native shit hard. I fuck with it and shit, and it is so much knowledge to learn about it. Because I mean, you primarily, speak on the North American part, but even you talk on the other ones too. But even in the other parts and shit, it's really everlasting knowledge on the shit, and I fuck with it. So I think
That's how they set up the whole Beyonce concert.
Yeah, and like you right about the shit being Masonic and shit, because that's another thing too. Even with the Caribbean, it's something with the bird and the feather in Native culture. Because I was asking my people, they didn't really know. I was like, damn, when you look at, like, let's say the Trinidadian festival, the Jamaican festival, the Dominican festival, you know how the women, they be having like they look like birds and shit. Because you mentioned Rihanna, I know she was in that too with the Barbados shit, and I was like, damn, what's the meaning behind this? Why do all the Caribbean, they like the bird dressing up like the bird, especially the women with the big ass boobs and titties and shit, and it's like they got the feathers and shit.
Yeah, they all got colonized by the white man using the Native American culture as a template. So for the most part, that's what we see in the holy. What we see in the holy is the symbolism of it. Any old Masonic tracing board picture you see of anybody with an ink pen with a feather on it, as soon as you see the feather on the ink pen, that's white man next to a piece of paper saying, "Hey, the Native Americans signed the way they land." Because I said so. I said so for the most part. It's like a symbol too. And then that's how you see, all right, who's doing this practice in all circumstances. So anytime you see George Washington with the shoulder thingy, or somebody writing with a feather, think somebody for Cashapp Car Scott, or somebody writing with a feather, or someone digging up land, or whatever the case, that's remixing Native American land mentally, and then acting that out physically by bringing foreigners and stuff over here to build that up. But then it looked like slavery when you start doing it physically. So.
Yeah, fact, and I agree with you, because I see that play out all the time too, especially when we talk about Caribbean culture. Because like you said, that's native shit, and then it's really a mix of other shit mixed with it. So I can see that play out in real life. Even to now, it's kind of neat seeing motherfuckers still following certain cultures though. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like the native spirit never really left. It never, you know what I mean? That's some real shit.
It got help. It got helped by the white boy. If the white boy would have had something of their own, it would have been more at a percentage scale of us having to relate or go against something that they can have to be creative on. Since it's just too much cosplaying, they wore it out. So it's like a burnout. And then everybody have to kind of like be themselves now. And even if, let's say you did make that up, you have to be the one who express it now. And if you can't do it, that's on the other end of you wasn't the impact. So it's like that with the government right now. It's like that with everybody. So can nobody cosplay no more? They got to actually, you either want the one who know how to do it, or it's synthetic.
Hey, and you know what? Real quick, last thing, why it's on my mind. That's another thing too, because even again, when people say the word West Indies, right? I was gonna ask you what's the actual breakdown of that, because knowing that Jamaicans and shit are technically West Indies, but a lot of the practice they do are what you would consider Indian culture and shit. That's why even they version of what people consider voodoo or magic ain't even like the other people shit that's lost in the Catholicism shit. It's actually more natural. Like they don't worship no other deities, no shit. They shit is like natural to the earth and shit. So I was gonna ask, what is West Indies? Is that just saying Indians that got moved to I don't even know shit.
No, it takes us back to our the feather and white man writing something down. So once white man already dealing with Native Americans, they naming something West Indies. And so it's like a sarcasm, but it's a starting of our establishment too. So it's these names that they come up with have a meaning and a nuance and actions behind it. It's the name is based on what they're gonna call it, and the nuance behind it is who they're interacting with, and then the actions behind it is what they're going to do with it. So they was coming up with circumstances like, okay, we're going to move this group of people here. Then this would be the west end or the west part of what's independent if you're trying to have your own land when you gentrify it. And then, so this is where these terms is coming from. But the reason why it's named Indie, because the whole concept originates from their interactions with us Native Americans. So we get actions of melting pot, mixing Native Americans in these lands, or trying to replace Native American history with other people, and then the word come with it. If these people think they're Indian, India, or West Indies, knowing that or Asians, East Asians, knowing that they're Asians, but let's just call them Indians too, whatever the case, then it all works together for them to replace somebody's history to claim somewhere first.
I see what you're saying and shit like that. Yeah. That whole, like, I see what I'm saying? We just proved it again. That whole Indian shit is deep, because it's like, no matter wherever you go, South, Central America, North America, even going into Caribbean, the culture is so strong there, and its history and knowledge there, that you might catch, like you say, a Pan-African or somebody else that want to try to argue and debate it, but they can't even run from the culture, because they wouldn't have some of their culture, some of them wouldn't have most of their culture if there wasn't native influence in it in the first place. So like,
Right.
that's like crazy. That's like everlasting knowledge, bro. And we just talk about North America a lot of times when you know, in general. So that's crazy.
Right.
But yeah, I appreciate you having me on here and shit like that. Hope you have a great day, man. Much
Real
love.
quick. Yep, shout out to Metatron. Now, okay, it's another person. Just see if y'all can okay, yeah, shout out to Mooney Mercury. What's going down? Mooney Mercury baby, everything.
Yo, okay. So I just tuned in. I'm not sure if you already gave insight on this or not, but I just heard Homeboy before me talking about like the Caribbean and whatnot, right? So I've been doing as much research as I possibly can on that shit, because you already know how muddy the fucking waters be and whatever.
Right.
But so my question, and you might not have the answer or the knowledge on it, but I just want to just ask, do you know, because you say that the Columbus thing wasn't a real thing, and I could see that being a real, like, you know, I could see that being true, what you're saying. Same with the George Washington.
I didn't necessarily say the Columbus thing ain't a real thing. Him as a person ain't real.
Right.
But
Yeah.
the actions was taken though.
Okay, right. That's what I was thinking. Like it just represents something like the George Washington shit. But so did you say it didn't happen in 1490, whatever the fuck? You said it happened. All this happened in the 1600s, right?
15s, like mid 15 to like the mid 1600s.
Okay. And what's your advice on, like, how do you determine what is like real history or not, man? Because I know we could get like oral tradition passed down and get different accounts from like certain tribes and whatnot, but it's hard to like really see what really happened, because so we can't trust their history, but then different tribes sometimes have like different accounts of what happened. So it's like kind of hard to tell for real, like what really happened in a specific, even in a specific region like Puerto Rico, or the native name of it is Borinquen. So that's like my specific roots and shit that are native from the what they would call Taino or whatever the hell. But so I was doing like real specific research on all this, like even down to like the actual island itself. And I'm trying to figure out like, and a lot of them are just talking about, you know, the narrative push through history. And then others will be like, nah, history ain't real, whatever. Then they'll say it's like this, but then some other people will be like, nah, it is this and that. And this is like, bro, I don't even know what's the truth anymore.
All right. So you said Puerto Rico. All right, this is a good way.
Awareness on that?
Yeah, we on the spot right now. This could be a good way. If we using Google, let's say, all right, who named that land? You'll Google that, right? And then if it go there, it's probably gonna lead you to who colonized it, or you can ask that first, who colonized it. Then let me see. Then after you ask who colonized it, ask who did they colonize. And then that's going to be the specific people who was running shit before it was colonized. And then get into their shit.
Okay, I know what you're talking about, and that's usually how I do the Google Scholar shit. I interrogate it, but that's the thing. This reminds me what's the problem though. Apparently, my specific roots, they're so fucked. They done got destroyed so much that genuinely nobody really know what the fuck happened.
Damn.
You know what I mean? Like certain tribes, like you know how they say they extinct certain tribes, or they like took only and they killed all the men and only kept the women, and then they mixed with them and shit. Technically, Puerto Ricans are what they call mestizo, and what mestizo means is native of the island mixed with Spanish and African and shit like that. So everybody in Puerto Rico is a damn mestizo. There's not really nobody that has a clarity on shit.
Well, you know what that mean then? That mean the land was made as they put people there. So it might be like just a vacant land. It might have been people around it and people that lived there. But once they colonized it, they established it then and start bringing all the people. And then whatever that was when they started establishing it. It probably wasn't no situation before it. It probably was just some vacant land and people around it was running shit. And then that whatever happened around that time, people moved to that little land to colonize that little land and brought people there. And then once it started to get populated, then that's when they started to call it Puerto Rico, or you said mosquito, because it sounds like they got mestizo. So it sounds like that's kind of more of a starting point. Because a lot of times if something ain't got no history, that land was just bought. Kind of like how they just go places and find a vacant land and gentrify it and shit like that. So whoever bought it gonna name it that.
So that could be possible. So there it's not true. And if that's the case, then the natives of Puerto Rico is from the neighboring islands or possibly South or Central America, whatever. But
that'd be the makeup of it, of all those people coming together and then whatever happened at that time.
Right. But not to just assume that's really what it is. That's possible. Right. But is it also possible that they just obliterated whoever was there damn near completely?
Well, yeah, but see that thing's that's tricky though, because in the middle of being obliterated, there's still kids being made, and there's still things that the people who killing people is cherishing. Other than that, that should still be a remnants, but that still could be a thing though. No, like it's just completely eradicated.
That makes sense though, because according to like the science of the DNA and shit, a lot of Puerto Ricans have the native the male DNA for that shit is like only 1%. The female DNA though is like high as hell, and that just shows me and in history they'll tell you they only had like a few thousand people left, but they was damn near all women, and they just took them and mixed with them and shit like that. Like they killed off all the men pretty much.
Oh yeah, that's one of their first go-tos right there. You kill all the men and lead a woman.
Yeah.
So yeah, but that's one of the first ways how history could get changed. So yeah, it's either they could be completely, well, y'all probably been completely obliterated, but sometimes it's just in my heart. I don't be wanting to give people that much credit. The complete whitewash. I get the extincting of tribes, but it's really be on the basis of a lot of people just had to mix with other tribes, and then in history you get confused and you don't know yourself.
That's what I'd be thinking. I don't even think it's a complete extinction. I just think that like they just pretty much colonized.
Yeah, whitewash to the highest degree. And that's a shame though, like, because like when we get to having our conversations like we having now, this wouldn't even be if people was doing things the right way. You know what I'm saying? Like it wouldn't even be. And then when we feel like we gotta do it ourselves, it put them in a position to seem like we're doing something wrong. But it's like they're starting something wrong in general. Why are you making people be in these type of positions? Like we shouldn't be in this type of position. That's dumb.
Yeah, man, it's crazy, but I appreciate you going in on history and shit. I'm about to go ahead and dip. I just want to leave everybody with one thing too. One last gem. Learn history, y'all, because what it gives a lot of insight and a lot of it is fabricated. But if you have enough what's that shit called to determine shit.
Comprehension or deciphering.
Discernment. If you have enough discernment and shit, you could see how modern times still acts out, or the roots of why shit still be barbaric when you look at history and see how shit got dragged out so fucking long. And then when you know history, ironically, you will develop a better mentality that's better than the common modern mentality, and you'll be able to see what's the real capabilities of humanity and where we could restart and refresh to do something better.
Real shit. Couldn't say no better. Real shit, Sean the Mooney Mercury baby. And that's excellent, because it's like you get to kind of see a framework that add nuance to why something is the way it is right now and where it's going in the future. So even like he said, a lot of it is plagiarized, a lot of it is remixed, But here's the thing: if you learn it, you also will be able to start seeing why it's remixed, and then that gives you even more nuance on what's going. Because you will be like, all right, I hear this story, but if I'm figuring out this remixed and the story is plagiarized, the story itself has a reason why these interactions happen. And now you could go down that train of thought, a line of reasoning to be like, all right, an interaction and an outcome at this time only would happen if people was in a disagreement in this area. So this would even spark the seed to make this person feel like they need to shut this person up or plagiarize their stuff. And this will put this person in a type of position. And then you will start to build the brain matter of it to be like, oh, okay, for that situation just to happen, these is the only courses that take. There can only be a handful of routes how this took. So anything janky in this storytelling of it, I know how to separate it, and I know how to look how it actually happened and things of that nature. And that puts us into for an example, even looking at like Jesus walking on water. You ain't ever seen nobody walking on water and something like that. So now you gotta look at it like, all right, this is a form of history of something being plagiarized. So maybe whoever wrote this ain't talking about water in that aspect and ain't talking about walking in that aspect. Then when you get into the nuance behind it, okay, this is the story that's plagiarized, man walking on water. But what would they be doing at this time? And what kind of speech in their tongue and how is they looking at life for them to say somebody walking on water? Because this would it say it's plagiarized. And my understanding of somebody walking on water in today's time, they are drowned. So boom, if they can't swim. So then when you get into that, now you get into what I'm talking about. The nuance. So they must be calling water something else. And they must be saying walking on water is in a different term. Oh, okay, this is a spiritual book. So what does this mean? Oh, what's the nuance around it? Okay, they was looking at water like emotion. Oh, like a feminine side of something. And then if you could walk on that, oh, that's like walking on a depression or an emotion. Oh, so this is what they was thinking about at that time. They was thinking about walking on water when you don't let an emotion persuade you and get you depressed or make you feel like you can't have some faith and see the light through the day. You know what I'm saying? Oh, and then boom, now you'll be like, okay, now I see who wrote it down. Now you're able to see who was watching somebody else who probably was like, I'm walking on water because I ain't deep in my emotions, and probably actually walked on water at the time too. The way the white man probably was looking at it and writing it down like, oh. You know what I'm saying? Like it's but you gotta look at it like that. That's how you get into it and shit and get involved. Just do it into what's that? Rakim? Make that song. Same real shit. What's going down? Christian, Muslim?
Yo, I mess with I came up Christian. I mess with the Muslims though. I mess with the Muslims.
Oh, so you're a Christian? So
I'm Christian. I wouldn't say I'm Christian.
Oh, okay. So what would make you believe in the Christian religion? How does that help you?
I love the Christians. My family Christian and stuff.
No, I ain't saying your love for people. I said what make you believe the Christian religion.
I don't deal with belief really. I don't want to deal with belief. I don't believe in Christianity, so to say.
It is contradictory. Well, all right. So what's your question?
I just want to ask you about the beetle, your sunglasses, and the
Oh, it's a bee.
The beetle.
It's a bee.
It's a bee.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was a beetle, because it made me think about X when he was talking about the golden beetle or whatever.
Yeah, they had him lost some Native American shit too. They had him shaving off his eyebrows. That's what the flathead Native Americans used to do and stuff like that. And we used to dye our hair and stuff like that too. But it was just, we could wash it out. We ain't did nothing permanent. You know what I'm saying? We could wash it out and switch up the next week. So all that with the sacred beetle and all that, anything on these lands, you got white boy creating some synthetic version of it for foreigners to play it out, and they can make money off of it. Because it started off making money off our land, then making money off our culture, off our people. Used to be a form of slavery also. I mean, a form of bargain and exchange.
Man, you just took me deep, man. The flathead Indians and stuff, like what? Shaving eyebrows.
Yeah, just do a lot of shit. The eyebrows, the side. Well, I still keep the Catawba version because we were the buns. Right now, this on my Cheyenne shit, my other shit. I'm going back to that phase too, though. But shave the back, sometimes shave the one side of the head, sometimes make the flat top on the side, but keep the sides of your hair long if you ain't shaved the sides, or however the case may be. How they had Cassie, all these different like Native American things, all the way to how they face paints, how the music videos, movies be about old Native American stories and shit like that. They have a foreigner play the white man and have the foreigner do something to a Native American that they just have another foreigner playing. It's all foreigners, like the Avengers. Everything is just foreigner versus foreigner, but it's really just stories about their interactions with Native Americans.
Right, right. Well, can you expound upon the bee then and the symbol? Because I mess with bees. They hover, right? They don't fly or whatever.
Well, it's just part of nature. So you just understand that the mechanisms of a bee, you can make your internal honey, right, or nectar, or however the case. And then we could be living representations of bees or just being. But at the same time, it's just showing us qualities in nature that we kind of could build tribes off of, or qualities to act out our internal natures with something in nature in the highest absolute way that's relatable. So, you know, bees is about family. Bees is about connecting. Bees is about having, no matter the individuality, still having an objective goal for everybody to be in it, and then sting at will when the mama bee nest needs to be protected and stuff. So that's how we kind of looked at the sweat lodges too, or the main areas where the sachems was at. And now we have like we got Freemasons doing a synthetic version of this. So, but it only got something to do with money though. How they doing it?
Yeah, because I don't be too deep on well, I do be deep on YouTube, but like I seen just yesterday some Masons or whatever and some drinking thing. I was completely lost. Like it was just, I don't know what's going on.
Well, everybody just people. I just look at everybody
Yeah,
like people.
they just talking about Shriners and stuff.
So once a person show me their actions, I look at it like, okay, that's that type of person with those type of insecurities. But that's as far as it go in my brain. But I don't generalize or separate and cast stones, or however the case may be. People be doing stuff for the sake of their own relatability, or whatever the case may be. But the truth of the matter is what I'm speaking. And since I'm native, I can only teach my stuff because they are part of my history, or whatever the case. But I really don't care what they personally do or anything in that nature.
Well, I don't want to take up too much of your time. I thought that was a beetle on your glasses. Made me think about some other stuff.
All right, rest in peace, Joseph Brent. Look, this cat never had nothing to say. Look, you ain't even had your camera on in time. Said, look, try to troll my name. I'm saying, oh shit. But yeah, other than that, yeah, it gets I need some good logic though. Where's the logic? Where's the Christian defenders, the damn Muslim defenders and stuff like that? All y'all religions is made up by the government stealing somebody's culture. You know what I'm saying? If you can't remember who named your lands or anything, it's straight Brother Connor, man. You know what I'm saying? So y'all can't be letting Brother Connor, man, get away with all that, man. Y'all gotta start going out in nature or something like that. Homegirl speaking earlier, it's just long and forgotten and things like that. It's long and forgotten. So we want to make sure we don't stay in these type of positions where things is long and forgotten. And it plays out in y'all actual life. You actually be lost. You actually be needing assistance with certain frames of thoughts and concepts and actions. That's what it means. It don't mean nothing else. Like when you tapped into the land and stuff like that, and the real spirit is you never feel lost. You never feel alone. You always could come up with a good idea. You know what I'm saying? You always making some internal goal and stuff like that. You always expressing some quality of even being needed. And you can find others that you can need and stuff like that. Like it's always gonna play like that. Real shit. I just did that to touch you. That's all I did. You know what I'm saying? Because I know it was getting ready to do like a psyop. So I cut it off before they could do it. Because I'm always a step ahead. You know, so I knew it was gonna be having something to do with an animal or something to do with a siren or something to do with a dog barking or something. I already knew and shit like that. So I sliced it in half in the spiritual world. So in the physical world, it just I was able to show what real power is. Because I was able to show like, look, y'all, no, I take it away. I give it and take it away. You know what I'm saying? Real shit. So look, you gotta come up with another one now. You gotta come up with another one. You know what I'm saying? This time I'm blocking your ass. Block. You know what I'm saying? Real shit. What's going down?
I think like free men got whitewashed, like going through the military and shit. That's like where most of my like family, part of my family coming from and shit. Like,
nah, man, y'all just don't represent me. You can't. Matter of fact, yeah, look at this, y'all. This their way of trying to say this how I look or how I sound. I don't even speak on no free man stuff like that. You just came in and talking all kind of stuff that ain't even my type of lingo. You gotta check your vibe.
yeah, for sure. Have to go.
Oh, that's it?
Yeah.
Y'all gotta be a little better distractions than that. Like that ain't a good distraction. Well, there go another one. It's going down.
Hey, Dolo. I just want to say thank you for speaking on what you speak on. That's about it. But I have something to say because there's this man, his name's New Life Tools, and he started his own tribe too. And I just I think that's cool. But I want to say like when you start your stuff, like I genuinely would like to be a part of it too in the future.
What happened?
Like a tribe, when you start your tribe, I don't know if you say you started a new one because you're part of one, right?
Look, y'all gotta peep this, right? So you got highly opinionated people that's trying to be open to observe something, and their only tactic to do it, let's say a person rather do it on this or whatever the case may be, right? It's fans. Like who else can it be? Like, you know what I'm saying? Shit. That's not, y'all gotta learn how to do things like real people. Y'all don't be doing stuff like real people and shit. Y'all think people be green and wet, but y'all really be the green and wet ones. Like y'all really be the ones who don't really know nothing. Like y'all need to update y'all undercover cop police tactics and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Real shit. No, I'm saying you gotta think like I guess this is the last thing they know how to do to obtain information. But if you ain't really connected to nothing in real life, you gonna be shitting the bricks in your way of trying to go about things in this shift. Say that it never even worked in the last shift. Y'all making it worse trying to make that work online. That only works on real life type stuff and real events. Trying to update it and do whatever y'all doing online don't work because you ain't real like that. Like you gotta be, there's a this is something that they gotta write down, whatever I'm saying, for some mathematical. At that point, you're weak. Like that don't work in this new shift. You can't cosplay a character and try to like that. That's just nipping in the butt right there, regardless of what detail I'm about to get into. You know what I'm saying? You can't explain nothing to a robot. That's what I'm starting to realize. A robot is in a space of having a belief of take. So anything from that perspective, you can't save a person going to hell. Don't even look at it like you're trying to save somebody from going to hell. They're doing what they do to make what hell is. Let these people do that. You just put them in there longer or whatever the case may be. You know what I'm saying? Like, for an example, they didn't flood it online with 80% of AI shit. So when you get a whole bunch of people up here expressing opinion or wanting a public opinion about a real life situation, that's not real. That's not a real person. Or is a fake person behind it using the video filter AI. Like, whoever said that was, they do this a lot on TikTok. Like you will go on TikTok and it'll be a person saying, now, hey guys, I just lost my job today. And just that, listen, anybody who had actual interactions and relationships at a job, that will be the last thing they're going to do. Just like they had a chick who just got fired or something from, she was a police officer and she was twerking on the job and she got fired. Whole AI video. That shit fake as hell. That ain't real. That ain't a real person. Ain't no real person got fired. None of that shit. That ain't no real force. Nothing. They just making up backgrounds and images. Like I'm low key trying to because let me get into all that because I know it's software and shit like. But at the same time, it's like it's another way for y'all to argue with each other because y'all can't see it because y'all not protecting y'all culture or y'all not starting at a ground basis to develop one. So you could be at your early stages of seeing how something get took and played against you. Y'all already involved in a bunch of stuff or trying to claim shit that really y'all ain't a part of. Y'all just had to assemble. And white men already got mad books of reverse psychology on y'all in those areas. That's why y'all got to be careful. That's why I keep telling y'all, even when it comes to that shit, if you start seeing a bunch of burnings or a bunch of what they call that slave grounds burning down, or so that's white boy doing that. As they doing anything else that they gentrify and shit like that. That ain't no damn ancestry, goddamn spirits. What the hell wrong with y'all? Y'all better stop talking like that. Everything, the thing y'all see for the next 6 months gonna have something to do with ancestor. They're gonna start putting it on the news, talk about this is something spooky. We don't know what's happening. Man, y'all get y'all mind fucked up by white boy. Y'all gotta learn from the natives, man. Y'all chill. Y'all really get tapped in so you can know what your ancestors. And I'm gonna tell you, on these lands, my ancestors, they have nothing to do with that. You know what I'm saying? Nobody had nothing to do with that. They said a white boy had something to do with that. The white boy did that to mess up the free man mind. Go help the free man. It's our brothers. Go help they mind. Go help they mind. That ain't had shit to do with us. You know what I'm saying? Real shit. We're going down.
Hey, what's up with you, G?
Yep.
Hey man, shit, I heard what you was saying about Rod Hayes and all them, you know what I'm saying? They some implants and shit. Cause I was like, man, you switching sides too much, you know what I'm saying? You supposed to stick your shit in the ground like a root and stay with it, whatever wind blow. You know what I'm saying?
But you supposed to tell them that. Not me, you supposed to tell them that. You part of them.
Man, shoot, man, I'm teaching and learning at the same time, you know what I'm saying? It's like
Well, y'all act like y'all know a lot, though. Y'all act like y'all know more than me. Y'all act like y'all know a whole lot of stuff. But your name is Tree Bud, Son, Samawa Dami, son. But yeah, you is them. That y'all only know how to just bullshit. Y'all be bullshitting.
Hey, well, how you know what I am?
Your name.
Hey, what does it mean?
You sat somewhere and thought that up.
Nah, Swammerdami means scorpion from the forest.
Yeah, you read books, so you part of the cult.
I mean, well, you have to read. I mean, you using alpha beta, ain't you? We kind of forced to use alpha beta.
You're invested in it like you get paid. People who into that ain't invested in it like that to utilize it in that type of fashion. So the way you utilizing it, you could only be self-projecting what you are. So the moment you even mentioned Rod Hayes, you part of that.
No, I seen you yesterday speaking on that shit.
Now you're trying to plagiarize. Instead of plagiarizing a name, you want to mix the day up. Yeah, that's another practice y'all do, mixing something up. But y'all be the only ones confused though. Like really, for real.
I'm not no y'all. I'm me. I'm not part of no band.
Well, I understand you part of a hive mind and you want to be your own self individual, but y'all need to self project better seeds.
When you
maybe you could start projecting better seeds for them. That's why I told you, tell the engineer Rod Hayes that, not me.
I'm not getting what you're saying. Cause I'm not no minion, and I'm not part of they fucking clique. I'm not part of nobody's clique. I'm not part of nobody's band. But I know in order to understand the enemy, which is another flaw, when you say understand, that means you're standing up right, but you're still up under an overseer. So you have to kind of understand what language you're using because you're casting spells just by reading and
First of all, you're a stranger of mine. So don't try to make me an enemy, and you're not an overseer of mine either.
Okay, well, you sitting here talking, giving all this valuable information to strangers and giving them information that they shouldn't have.
But you're using reverse psychology though.
No, I'm not using any kind of psychology.
You just said
This is your psychosis. You remember you reprojecting this shit. I'm just
but you
regurgitating what you said.
it's impossible to be a caricature of God's real children. That's what I'm trying to help you understand. So the moment you said overseer, why would you utilize the term overseer if that ain't
Because
what
you
you
said
claiming you're doing to me right now?
understand. When you standing upright, that means you comprehend. You can't understand if you already standing upright. I don't give a fuck how tall a motherfucker is.
So you supposed to tell Rod Hayes that, not me. Don't self-reflect what you projecting like I'm not doing it better than you. You need to tell Rod Hayes that so y'all don't continue to have these issues that people could just see y'all shit like it's weak.
I'm not talking to Rod Hayes. I'm
I'm
talking to
already
you.
in the shadows. So I like being in the light because I already know that I'm sleep in the shadow. So if you don't know what the light is and you only could come in the shadow, the terminology is automatically off. So that's what I'm trying to help you understand. We can sit here and talk about Rod Hayes all day, but you know him personally. You should tell him to update the software.
Nigga, I don't know that nigga.
So what would be your interest in it? And for you to tie it to standing upright and being an overseer. You damn sure ain't an overseer of me. You're just a pervert. But other than that, what would be the link to Rod Hayes and you watching me and then you saying you standing upright being an overseer? And then utilizing the term.
No, don't twist my words. Don't twist my words like that.
As if y'all in a situation of claiming I'm an enemy. That's why y'all watch me every day.
I don't sit there and watch nobody every day.
Yeah, I'm a little bit too advanced. For y'all. That's all it comes to. A little bit too advanced. What's going down?
Hey Dolo, I just wanted to know when's your next private consulting?
Private consult. Oh, I can start that. I'm gonna get that together right after this live stream. It's still early, so I'll probably start around like throughout. I can start today at 6, but it'll be throughout the whole week when everybody just come up with their own time of how they want to formulate it. But okay. I'll post it on my post on how to go about it.
Okay, and I'll send you an email then.
Yep. DOELOW 4 at gmail.com. Or all you can IG me.
All right, thank you.
Yep. And I'm about to release these audio books too, based upon the language and deciphering the mentality and knowing where seeds come from. Also health and dealing with your internal stick or your staff, aka your spine, so you can play on your piano to know where all your nerves are springing from, so you can learn it from a physical perspective of which is affecting what, and then I add the layer of the spiritual quality, what mind state you're supposed to be in. Then you join those two natures together, that actual diet or practice or that exercise that cater to the mentality that goes to that specific area if you're dealing with any deficiencies or health problems or stiffness or however the case may be. And also to be able to observe when others is not in that energy and you can help them out too. Or even if you get manipulated in some way, shape, or form. You know what I'm saying? So you'll be able to see things from a mile away as far, because y'all know how y'all be having jobs or something like that. You might have somebody you talking to and like a person, they might be cool, but they might want, let's say like you off on Saturday and they want to be off on Saturday and shit. And you might not know, in one hand, they're being cool. It's like white light, dark black magic. One hand, they be cool, but in another hand, they're putting you in a situation that they know in this kind of way that you wouldn't even see as wrong. You just got to get placed in that situation that will allow the manager to be like, oh, okay, well, you can have that day Saturday. And you'll be agreeing to shit you ain't even know you agreeing to until you ain't got the Saturday off no more and shit like that. You're like, oh, this motherfucker was playing. You know what I'm saying? Oh, that's why they had me that one time take their day off. And then I took it and then I did it that other day. They was having a whole conversation with the manager saying, and shit, I ain't giving to the sauce. Like I wanted it to be that way and stuff. You know what I'm saying? It'd be too late. You got to fight for Saturday back. Like shit like that. Like, you know what I'm saying? Nobody be having time for that bullshit. But yeah, I'll wait a couple more seconds, see if about 2 more minutes, 1:35, see if anybody else get the link. Because I'm wearing some logic, man. I want somebody to defend. Because you could leave a title like this, people will be saying this person out of their mind. I be saying the most off the wall shit. That's how y'all know my shit be true. Because I put it in context and make it make sense. And I don't just sound like I'm off the wall for no reason. Like I don't even express myself like I'm off the wall. But these type of things I be saying will be some shit that other people, like even when you say first law of thermodynamics is wrong. Energy can be created. There ain't no 7 planets and constellations, though, that them satellites that they put up there is not synced that way. It's synced as the pockets of the sun, even when the sun ain't in that pocket anymore. All of the and we're rotating to the left as a body of water. That's how you get in the moon phases. The moon ain't an object itself. It's just an emanation of take the shape and form of the atmosphere. All these things will be things that mad people couldn't wait to roast me and stuff like that. Especially look at me and how I look and shit like that. You know, they don't cross that line. And y'all know all the people that do these things already aware about me. So that's how you know can't nobody fuck with me. That's how you look at it. That's how you look at it from the holy perspective. I got the absolute way. You can only get some synthetic version of me at this point because there ain't no authority where I'm at. It's just only me and God's children and shit. In the physical world, whoever trying to control the base reality and control other people's dick and pussy because they dick and pussy don't work. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, well, in our own micro world, and we could control where the 33rd vertebrae and people's pelvic and dick and spine at, and we could control all those desires and mentalities people play out down here, then maybe we could be somebody and still die like everybody else. Like, it's stupid. It's dumb. It ain't got nothing to do with nothing. This is added on to everything. Bitch, you better be well-rounded. Like that shit is dumb though. You know what I'm saying? It's copying Native Americans, how we go inside of our body and go inside and travel the same way that we inside the Great Spirit body and build that up though. That's what we don't be getting help with. Building the worlds up to create new continents and shit like that. People don't know how to do it that way. They just know how to take from our shit and do it themselves and go to hell. Organ implosion. The end. Well, you're another troll. You know, I had this last troll. Just got a
Nah,
dot.
I'm
What
not
is
a
the
troll,
dot?
bro.
Oh,
Yeah,
you
I'm
know
not a
that.
troll. Yeah, so I was just adding on what you were saying. So all right. So the only way they would see what you're saying in regards to the stars don't exist is if they find the end of a rainbow or something and they'll walk through it and notice that they just seen
Nah,
a
this guy
fuck.
causing the confusion, y'all. This is the
No,
trolling.
bro. I'm saying, you know how a rainbow is a hologram?
Nah.
It's not a hologram. It's just a ray of light. That's not physical.
See,
I'm
they
not,
they trying to save NASA money right now, y'all.
bro. I'm not calling
They
in
be
the
watching the
disagree,
shadow banning and copy and be the same people trolling and shit. That's fucked up. Go ahead.
bro. I'm not calling in to disagree with you. I'm gonna just
No,
hang
I
up
ain't
though.
saying you disagreeing. I'm saying you're causing confusion. Ain't got nothing. What I just said ain't got nothing to do with no rainbow. So anybody who real, they know what's going on. Especially Native
No.
Americans, the natives that's watching me and my elders, they know exactly what's going on right now. You're taking the shit and trying to remix it, but you're trying to save NASA. The moment I started talking about the 7 planets ain't real, and y'all throwing satellites up there and stuff like that, it ain't real in that concept.
Well,
So
I'm not
so
with
now
no.
y'all trying to figure out another way to get paid off how I'm presenting the concept. So you need to shadow ban me as much as possible, watch me steal my shit, and then try to figure out a synthetic way y'all can sell it up. But this is what y'all do, because y'all damn sure don't be donating or anything that nature.
Yeah, bro. I was just calling in and saying I agree with
Just to
you. That's
cause
all.
the confusion with a rainbow. That's all. No, I'm saying this cat trying to make you think that's y'all be careful, free man, that too, because that's what they doing with y'all. The religion and the Christianity. As soon as you in it and you start to get out of one retardation, they'll try to put you in another retardation. They'll be like, yeah, because you probably can see. So look, by me having this title I got right now, Muscogee Creek made Greek, you about to see them flood other people's channels with fake pages and try to say, well, the Greeks ain't had nothing to do with the Bible now or something like that. It's all a reverse psychology because they shit off a lie. They create a lie, try to make their truth off the lie. When you discover the truth of their lie, they cause confusion to make another lie that they can build their truth off of. And it's only their truth, white superiority. That's it. Yeah. That shit is the highest form of racism I've ever seen in my life, bro. You use the technology to do that shit now. For that. For that. But yeah, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, y'all don't know what they did to us Native Americans and shit like that, man. They did us dirty. They ain't really do us dirty though. It's a mind game. We was always stronger in the spirit world though. Like, we the adults. So y'all gotta be aware of these cats mind games. But it ain't even too much you gotta be aware of. In today's time, it's too weak. They can just express themselves and already show that they ain't genuine. They ain't even from where you from and stuff like that. So this is like, oh, this is weak. But I love all y'all from the bottom of my heart. Y'all stay spiritually protected. Flight boss, bitch, you know. But that's how you stay spiritually protected. That's how you do spiritual warfare. That's how you protect your people. That's how you protect your culture. That's how you help out the mind. And I'm gonna help you free man's minds. I'm gonna help y'all Puerto Ricans' minds. I'm gonna help out everybody's mind and shit like that. Because we in a new time. Spiritual warfare is at an all-time high. And we got people who ain't spiritual. They need people who spiritual to create a form to sell you back to you. All they got to do is create a word around what they took from you. And then when they sell it back to you, it's a barcode on it. It's a law on it. And it's so many layers of distraction. You don't even know that you made up the ingredients in the first place. And you could never get paid off of it. And let you start complaining. They might end up like Rockstar Studios and sue your ass because you using images from some shit they copied from you in the goddamn first place called Grand Theft Auto. Goddamn it. If people wasn't broke, there wouldn't be no such thing as people stealing cars. Grand Theft Auto, motherfucker. And I love all y'all from the bottom of my heart. You better believe it, bitch. Flight boss, bitch. You know, but listen to the bottom of that Terry's Boo. I'm the Royal Archangel Uriel, and I'm here to carry out God duties and motherfucking responsibilities. Get your spirits protected. Get your spirits protected and protect your culture. And a little better than that.